Hello there everybody, welcome to Matt's World. In today's video, with the conclusion of the EFL Championship season, I'm going to be reacting to my predictions from the start of the season. I know I didn't make a video on this at the start of the season, as I didn't make videos on this channel at the start of the season, but I still did predictions, and I'm going to show them to the world today. So without further ado, let's react to the predictions. I'm going to talk about each team from bottom of the league to the top, where they finished in real life, and compare them to where I predicted them. In 24th place was Rotherham United, with only 27 points. In my predictions, I predicted them to finish 23rd. So I was only one place out in the end, which I'll take that. That's a pretty good prediction. I had them going down, and they went down. I wasn't expecting them to capitulate as much as they did, but I should have seen it coming. I knew they were going to go down. They dropped like an absolute stone since Paul Warne left the club last season to go to Derby. They dropped out of the top 10 and just dropped like a stone to 19. They stayed up, it was a good season, but they mainly stayed up because of the incredible start they had in the season. They ended up going down this season because a lot of the good players had left, like Ogbene went to Luton. The quality just wasn't there like it was last season. They didn't have the quality manager and the quality players, and they just had second season syndrome and went down. And finishing 19th was a good season for them. We thought that they'd finally broken the yo-yo curse that they've been stuck under. They're the ultimate yo-yo team between Championship and League One. They just go up and down constantly between those divisions. Too good for League One, too bad for Championship. In 23rd place was Huddersfield Town with 45 points. I predicted them to finish 21st. So again, not a bad prediction. I was only 2 places out this time, but I did predict Huddersfield to stay up, and they went down. I did this prediction on the basis that they still had Neil Warnock, the Championship legend. He's kept teams up, he's got teams promoted, so I thought he would keep Huddersfield up for another season. We were all led to believe he was staying for the full season. In the end, he was asked to leave because the Huddersfield board decided to appoint Darren Moore as the manager. Look how well that went. Everyone were calling him Darren Draw. He had too many draws. Huddersfield were too draw heavy this season, which costed them their place in the Championship. A couple of them draws turning into wins, they'd still be in the league. In 22nd place was Birmingham, and I have never seen a bigger capitulation of a club in the history of me watching football. And I've only been watching football for 3 years. The board wanted to appoint a big name. They appointed Wayne Rooney. He's already got a relegation with Derby County on his CV. I know they had minus 21 points, but still, there were red flags from the beginning. None of the Birmingham fans liked it. None of the Championship neutrals and fans liked it. Like the appointment of Wayne Rooney. It just stank. It was a horrific appointment. And they were just unlucky with managers ever since. They appointed Tony Mowbray, who left due to illness, and then they've had Gary Rowett on an interim, and they've just gone down. They've absolutely stunk it. Even after winning on the final day, they've gone down. And I didn't predict them to have a great season. They finished 22nd. I predicted them to finish 19th. In the last 7 seasons before this season, they've finished between 17th and 20th 7 seasons in a row. That club absolutely stank of disappointment, and I was expecting them to have another disappointing season. And it was even worse. They went down. 21st place was Plymouth Argyle with 51 points. They stayed up because of that massive win against Hull City on the final day. If they didn't win that game, they would have gone down. They finished 21st. I predicted them to finish 20th. I predicted them to finish above Huddersfield and Rotherham. I predicted them to just stay up, and they just stayed up. Good season for Plymouth. They can build on this. If they manage to get a permanent manager in and build on it and do some good signings, I can see him becoming a Championship regular for the next few seasons. 20th place was my team, Sheffield Wednesday, with 53 points. We had the second best form out of the bottom half sides, only Millwall having better form. What a managerial masterclass from Danny Roll. He's not been nominated for Manager of the Season, but to be fair, Sheffield Wednesday coming 20th. Is that an achievement in terms of managerial awards? No. But in terms of a team with how bad Wednesday were at the start of the season, it's an absolutely humongous achievement. Worst start ever in Championship history after 10 games under Shitsco. 2 points in 10 games, sacked him. Neil Thompson came in as interim for one game, which I went to an absolutely drab 0-0 draw against Huddersfield. 3 points in 11 games, absolutely honking. To finish with 53 points, Danny Roll has come in and picked up 50 points with the worst start of a championship season history for a team. Absolutely phenomenal. I hope Danny Roll stays. I hope he don't leave for another club. I don't see why he would. He's got everything he wants. He's got all his coaching staff. He's got a team of players that believe in him. And hopefully Chansiri will back him. As much as I hate him and he's an absolute clown, I hope he backs Danny Roll. We're going to go places with him. I promise you. In my prediction for Sheffield Wednesday, I had them finishing 14th. What? I was a little bit too giddy with Sheffield Wednesday. I thought they'd do a lot better than they did. But if we had Danny Roll from the start of the season, we could have finished 14th, to be fair, if we didn't have Cisco for those first 10 games. 19th place was Blackburn Rovers. I had them predicted to finish 12th. So here's the first of a long line of absolutely terrible predictions from me. I did expect him to have a fall off from last season. I wasn't expecting him to be in the relegation dogfight. Wow, they absolutely fell off a cliff, Blackburn Rovers. Sammy Smodics basically kept him up. Top goal scorer. I saw him at Blackburn when Wednesday played him, and what a goal he scored. And to be honest, even though we won 3-1, and Windass had that lob and the goalkeeper dropped it into the net, that Sammy Smodics goal, in terms of an actual proper goal, that was the best goal I'd seen in the game. He's an absolutely phenomenal player, and I can see him going to a Premier League or a high championship team next season, or even a top flight team like a Bundesliga team or a Ligue 1 team. I can see him going to a top team next season, and I can see Blackburn getting a big profit off him. In 18th place was QPR. In my prediction, I had them finishing 24th, and to be fair, a lot of people had QPR to go down. They had Gareth Ainsworth at the start of the season. Last season when they got him, they weren't playing great football, they only just stayed up. It was written on the wall that they were doomed for relegation this year. Marty Cifuentes has come in and absolutely taken QPR from certain relegation to staying up. Him and Danny Roll are two of the best managers this season, taking their clubs from certain relegation to staying up is an absolute achievement. Congratulations QPR, I'm glad you've stayed up. You're a good club and I hope to play here for a few more seasons to come. In 17th place was Stoke City. I predicted them to finish in 16th, so I was only one place off with Stoke. Everybody falls into the false trap that Stoke City are going to do well and that they're going to finish out of the bottom half. Every single season since they got relegated in the Premier League, they have finished in the bottom half every single year. To say they were in the Premier League for a decade, that is absolutely abysmal. I bet the Stoke fans are absolutely bored to death of finishing in the bottom half around 17th every single year. But Stoke are a good club. I really hope that they push on and push up the table, but they're just not, and I wasn't expecting them to this season. I didn't see any pride and joy in the recruitment. It just wasn't going to be a great season for them. 16th place was Sunderland, finishing with the same amount of points as Stoke, having -2 goal difference thanks to Wednesday. I had Sunderland finishing in 5th. This is an absolutely horrendous prediction. I did not see the fall of Sunderland coming. I did not see the appointment of Mick Beale coming. What an absolute honking appointment that was. That was absolutely terrible. What an absolutely terrible loyalty-wise manager, by the way. He was at QPR, he rejected a move to Wolves, all fans were calling him loyal, and then he went to Rangers, got sacked, came to Sunderland, got sacked again. Absolutely woeful. Should have stayed at QPR, mate. 15th place was Watford. I predicted him to finish in 11th, so I was only 4 places out with Watford. I predicted him to have another mid-table season. The quality of this squad has completely dropped off since the Premier League days. I just didn't see him moving up the league this season. Finishing above him was 14th place Swansea City. I had him predicted to finish 11th. So I did have him predicted to finish next to Watford, but again, I had him in 10th. I was 4 places out with Swansea. The Michael Duff appointment was an absolute failure. It didn't work out, and it's a good thing that they ended up pulling away from the relegation dogfights. They were in it around when Michael Duff was there. They managed to pull away from the relegation battle before it really began, before Sheffield Wednesday and QPR caught up to the teams above them. So in the end, an average mid-table season for Swansea. 13th place was Millwall. I had them finishing 6th. I thought they were going to do it this year. I thought they were going to finally get into the playoffs. But then their manager left after being there for so long. and it just was an absolute disaster. They were 21st. At one point they looked like they could go down to League One, but then their new managers come in and absolutely tore up the fucking league, tore a new arsehole to the top teams, and flown up from that 21st to finishing 13th. 5 wins in a row from the last 5 games for a bottom half side. That is absolutely magnificent form, and I can see Millwall, if they keep a similar squad, make a few good signings and keep the manager, I can see them trying to get into the playoffs again next year, maybe even going up. We could be sleeping on a Millwall masterclass next season. 12th place was Cardiff City. I had them finishing 22nd, 10 places out with Cardiff. Absolutely honking prediction. It was certain relegation. If Reading didn't have the points deduction they had, Cardiff would be in League One. They got saved by Reading's point deduction. They were that bad, they were that terrible last year, and I thought this was the year where they were going to go down to League One, but no, they stayed up in the end. So fair play Cardiff, you proved everyone wrong. You had a better season than last year. Well done Cardiff. Here's to you doing maybe even better next year. In 11th place was Bristol City. I had them to finish in 18th. I thought there was going to be a regression, but that didn't happen. They finished mid-table once again. The Crystal Palace of the Championship, mid-table every single year. Not any higher, not any lower, just mid-table. That's Bristol City in a nutshell. Another team that I can describe that as is Preston North End, who finished 10th. I predicted them to finish in 17th. They didn't have a fantastic year last year, and I wasn't expecting them to have a fantastic year again. But I did predict them and Bristol City next to each other, so I kind of got that right again, just in the complete wrong place. That was another 7 places out with Preston North End. In 9th place was Coventry. I had them finishing 4th. I thought they were going to have a good season. This year they have had a good season. You can't discredit getting to an FA Cup semi-final and nearly getting to the final, almost beating Manchester United. I mean, who can't beat Manchester United these days? Coventry, clearly. I thought they'd get playoffs again. They kind of just fell off a bit around the end of the season. When they needed that form the most, they fell away. And they still had a good year, and I can see them challenging for the playoffs again next season. In 8th place was Middlesbrough. I had them predicted to finish in 2nd, 6 places off with Middlesbrough. I wasn't the only one to predict Middlesbrough to go up. They were on fire last year under Michael Carrick. They were an absolute storm of the league. Managed to get into the playoffs last year, lost in the semi-final to Coventry in an absolutely drab set of games. But it was promising. But they just didn't recruit the same kind of loans, the same kind of talent that they had last year. They just didn't have it this year. Michael Carrick is a good manager, and I can see him getting into the playoffs maybe next season with Middlesbrough. In 7th place was Hull City. I predicted them to finish in 15th. I was expecting them to have a fall off. They didn't. They finished 7th. And what an absolutely unfair sacking. Sacking Rossini for being 3 points outside the playoffs. Yes, the squad was good enough to get in the playoffs. They should have been in the playoffs with the likes of Liam Delap and the absolute quality Premier League loans they had. But that is harsh. They could have easily got into the playoffs next year. If they'd have kept him and got a similar squad, style of play, they could have got into the top 6 next year. But now they've sacked him. Yeah, I get it. There was differing opinions, a clash of opinions, a clash of direction with the manager and the owner. But 3 points. Being sacked for missing out on the playoffs by 3 points. Nah, man. That's not right. I wouldn't be happy with that. If I was a Hull City fan, I'd be absolutely fuming. 6th place was Norwich City. I predicted them to finish in 9th. I did predict them to do better than last year, but I didn't expect them to be that much better. I was expecting them to be like Watford, finishing mid-table again, but they didn't. They got into the playoffs. Congratulations, Norwich. I know you're playing Leeds at the time of this video's recording. You haven't played each other yet, so best of luck, Norwich. I hope you beat Leeds. Leeds have absolutely bottled it and stunk it. I hope you tear them a new arsehole, Norwich. 6th place, good season for Norwich. Possibility of getting in the Premier League, and then finishing 20th again in the Premier League next season. 5th place was West Brom. I did predict him to have a good season. I predicted him to finish in 8th. I was expecting him to do better, but I wasn't expecting him to do this better, where they were going to be in the playoffs. I was expecting him to be up there, but not in there, if you know what I mean. Good season for West Brom. They've not been in very good form, but none of the playoff teams have been in good form, to be fair. 3 losses out of the last 5 games, 2 wins, which has kept them there, but they've been in 5th pretty much all season. For the most of the season, West Brom have been 5th. It was inevitable that they were going to finish 5th, and they finished 5th, so best of luck to West Brom in the playoffs. 4th place was Southampton. I predicted them to finish 3rd, so I was only 1 place out with Southampton. Finally, a good prediction for the first time in ages. Southampton were a pretty good team this year. 23 games unbeaten in the league is nothing to shit on. That was an absolutely magnificent run of form. But then after that 3-1 loss to Bristol City, they kind of just fell away and they just bottled getting into the automatics. They could have gone up in the automatics. They could have won the damn thing, with Leicester being so bad at one point, but they didn't capitalise on it and they bottled it. So they've ended up finishing 4th. But again, congratulations Southampton getting in the playoffs. In 3rd place was Leeds United. I had them predicted to finish 7th, 4 places out.
What? 7th?
Yeah, I was expecting Leeds to miss out on something. I had that feeling at the start of the season that they were going to miss out on something, but I predicted them to miss out on the wrong thing. I predicted them to miss out on the playoffs, but they actually missed out on automatic promotion. So I was thinking the right thing, that they were going to miss out on something. It was just between missing out on automatics or missing out on the playoffs. And I thought, because I'm an absolutely disgruntled Wednesday fan, I'll predict them 7th. But no, I was wrong. So, in the end, good season for Leeds, absolutely bottled it at the end. I know Daniel Farke's won 2 league titles with Norwich, but he's not done it through the playoffs. Can he do it through the playoffs? He's got a lot to prove against his former club Norwich. So, as I hate to say it, good luck Leeds. I hope you do well in the playoffs. I hope all the playoff teams have success, but obviously they all can't. Only one of them can go up. In 2nd place was Ipswich Town. I predicted them to finish in 13th, so I was expecting them to have a good season, but not this good. Absolutely massive congratulations to Leeds Town.
That's it?
Absolutely massive congratulations to Ipswich Town. What what a massive achievement this is. This is any club's dream, to go back-to-back promotions. Kieran McKenna has had an absolute masterclass. I've been paying attention to Ipswich for the last few seasons now, with Wednesday being in League One, Wednesday being in that automatic race with Ipswich, and we bottled it. But they absolutely deserved it in the end, and they deserved it again this season. What an absolute masterclass from Kieran McKenna. Premier League teams, top flight teams, maybe even other countries will be looking at him, wanting him. But I don't see him leaving Ipswich. I don't see him leaving, at least this season. He's going to be a Premier League manager next season. Why would you leave Ipswich to go somewhere else? It wouldn't make sense to me. But they've had an absolutely unbelievable squad. The recruitment has been top notch. Cheap signings that are really good, underrated signings that have got them up. And then in 1st place was Leicester City, and I predicted them to finish in 1st. Probably the easiest prediction of the entire list, because normally it's a relegated Premier League side that wins the league. It's inevitable that happens. The only time that hasn't happened in recent seasons was when Leeds did it in 2019-20. They weren't a former Premier League side and they won the league. So Leicester, yeah, they looked like they were going to drop out of the automatics at one point, but they managed to stay in there with more or less Premier League squad. I know a lot of their players left, but a lot of their Premier League core teams stayed, and that's what ultimately led them to going up. They've got a good manager, and I can see them and Ipswich Town doing well in the Premier League next season and not going down, unlike the 3 promoted teams this season that are absolutely abysmal and deserve an absolute whooping in the Championship when they come down. So those were my Championship predictions. I was a lot of places out. I can't be bothered to add it up now, so this is how many places I was out. Editor me, who has added them up. Yeah, not a great season. I did better last season. I know you don't know my predictions from last season. Maybe I'll show them off one day. Who knows? But anyway, I also did predictions for League One and the Premier League. So if you want to see me reacting to my predictions for those, I know the Premier League season hasn't ended yet. I mean, when the Premier League season ends. If you want to see me react to those, then I will. Just let me know in the comments. But yes, please do leave a like. Please subscribe. I'm trying to build a good channel here. I'm building a good community with the various different forms of content. So please, if you want to see some more EFL Championship content, please subscribe. and I will provide it. So let me know what you want and I'll provide it. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Goodbye.